Jeremias, chapters 10 through 13. Hear ye the word of the Lord, which he has spoken to you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Learn ye not the ways of the heathen, and be not alarmed at the signs of the sky, for they are alarmed at them falling on their faces. For the customs of the nations are vain, as a tree cut out of the forest, the work of the carpenter, or a molten image. They are beautified with silver and gold. They fix them with hammers and nails. They will set them up that they may not move. It is wrought silver, that they will not walk. It is forged silver, wrought from Tharsis. Gold will come from Morphaz, and the work of goldsmiths. They are all the works of craftsmen. They will clothe themselves with blue and scarlet. They must certainly be worn, for they cannot ride of themselves. Fear them not, for they cannot do any evil, and there is no good in them. And thus shall ye say to them, Let the gods which have not made heaven and earth perish from out the earth and from under the sky. It is the Lord that made the earth by his strength, who set up the world by his wisdom, and by his understanding stretched out the sky, and set abundance of waters in the sky, and brought out clouds from the ends of the earth, and made lightnings for the rain, and brought forth light out of those treasures. Every man is deprived of knowledge. Every goldsmith is confounded because of his graven images. For he has cast false gods. There is no breath in them. They are vain works, wrought in mockery. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. Such is not the portion of Jacob, for he that formed all things, he is his inheritance. The Lord is his name. He has gathered thy substance from without, that lodged in choice vessels. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will overthrow the inhabitants of this land with affliction, that thy plague may be discovered. Alas for thy ruin! Thy plague is grievous. And I said, Surely this is thy wound, and has overtaken thee. Thy tabernacle is in a ruinous state. It is perished, and all thy curtains have been torn asunder. My children and my cattle are no more. There is no more any place for my tabernacle, nor place for my curtains. For the shepherds have become foolish, and have not sought the Lord. Therefore the whole pasture has failed, and the sheep have been scattered. Behold, there comes a sound of a noise, and a great earthquake from the land of the north, to make the cities of Judah a desolation, and a resting place for ostriches. I know, O Lord, that man's way is not his own, neither shall a man go and direct his going. Chasten us, O Lord, but with judgment, and not in wrath, lest thou make us few. Pour out thy wrath upon the nations that have not known thee, and upon the families that have not called upon thy name. For they devoured Jacob and consumed him, and they have made his pasture desolate. The word that came to Jeremias from the Lord, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, and thou shalt speak to the men of Judah, and to the dwellers in Jerusalem. And thou shalt say to them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Cursed is the man who shall not hearken to the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day when I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, out of the iron furnace, saying, Hearken to my voice, and do all things that I shall command you. So shall ye be to me a people, and I will be to you a God, that I may confirm mine oath, which I swear to your fathers, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then I answered and said, So be it, O Lord. And the Lord said to me, Read these words in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, and do them. But they did them not. And the Lord said to me, A conspiracy is found among the men of Judah, and among the dwellers in Jerusalem. They are turned aside to the iniquities of their fathers that were of old, who would not hearken to my words. And behold, they go after strange gods to serve them. And the house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Behold, I bring evils upon this people, out of which they shall not be able to come forth, and they shall presently cry to me, but I will not hearken to them. And the cities of Judah and the dwellers in Jerusalem shall go, and cry to the gods to whom they burn incense, which shall deliver them in the time of their troubles. For according to the number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have ye set up altars to burn incense to Baal. And now, pray not for this people, intercede not for them in supplication and prayer. For I will not hear in that day which they call upon me, in the day of their affliction. Why has my beloved wrought abomination in my house? Will prayers and holy offerings take away thy wickedness from thee, or shalt thou escape by these things? The Lord called thy name a fair olive tree, of a goodly shade and appearance. At the noise of its being lopped, fire was kindled against it. Great is the affliction coming upon thee. Her branches are become good for nothing. And the Lord that planted thee has pronounced evils against thee, because of the iniquity of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Whatsoever they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger by burning incense to Baal. O Lord, teach me, and I shall know. Then I saw their practices. But I, as an innocent lamb led to the slaughter, knew not. Against me they devised an evil device, saying, Come, and let us put wood into his bread, and let us utterly destroy him from off the land of the living, and let his name not be remembered any more. O Lord, that judgest righteously, trying the reins and hearts, let me see thy vengeance taken upon them, for to thee have I declared my cause. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the men of Anathoth, that seek my life, that say, Thou shalt not prophesy at all in the name of the Lord, but if thou dost, thou shalt die by our hands. Behold, I will visit them. Their young men shall die by the sword, and their sons and their daughters shall die of famine, and there shall be no remnant left of them. For I will bring evil upon the dwellers of Anathoth in the year of their visitation. Righteous art thou, O Lord, that I may make my defense to thee. Yea, I will speak to thee of judgments. Why is it that the way of the ungodly men prospers? That all that deal very treacherously are flourishing. Thou hast planted them, they have taken root. They have begotten children, and become fruitful. Thou art near to their mouth, and far from their reins. But thou, Lord, knowest me. Thou hast proved my heart before thee. Purify them for the day of their slaughter. How long shall the land mourn, and the grass of the field wither, for the wickedness of them that dwell in it? The beasts and the birds are utterly destroyed, because the people said, God shall not see our ways. Thy feet run, and they cause thee to faint. How wilt thou prepare to ride upon horses? And thou hast been confident in the land of thy peace? How wilt thou do in the roaring of Jordan? For even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even these have dealt treacherously with thee, and they have cried out, they are gathered together in pursuit of thee. Trust not thou in them, though they shall speak fair words to thee. I have forsaken mine house, I have left mine heritage, I have given my beloved one into the hands of her enemies. My inheritance has become to me as a lion in the forest. She has uttered her voice against me, therefore have I hated her. Is not my inheritance to me a hyena's cave, or a cave round about her? Go ye, gather together all the wild beasts of the field, and let them come to devour her. Many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard. They have defiled my portion. They have made my desirable portion a trackless wilderness. It is made a complete ruin. For my sake the whole land has been utterly ruined, because there is none that lays the matter to heart. The ravagers are come to every passage in the wilderness. For the sword of the Lord will devour from one end of the land to the other. No flesh has any peace. Sow wheat and reap thorns. Their portion shall not profit them. Be ashamed of your boasting, because of reproach before the Lord. For thus saith the Lord concerning all the evil neighbors that touch mine inheritance, which I have divided to my people Israel. Behold, I will draw them away from their land, and I will cast out Judah from the midst of them. And it shall come to pass, after I have cast them out, that I will return, and have mercy upon them, and will cause them to dwell every one in his inheritance, and every one in his land. And it shall be, if they will indeed learn the way of my people, and swear by my name, saying, The Lord lives, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall that nation be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not return, then will I cut off that nation with utter ruin and destruction. Thus saith the Lord, Go and procure for thyself a linen girdle, and put it about thy loins, and let it not be put in water. So I procured the girdle according to the word of the Lord, and put it about my loins. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Take the girdle that is upon thy loins, and arise, and go to the Euphrates, and hide it there in a hole of the rock. So I went and hid it by the Euphrates, as the Lord commanded me. And it came to pass after many days that the Lord said to me, Arise, go to the Euphrates, and take thence thy girdle, which I commanded thee to hide there. So I went to the river Euphrates, and dug, and took the girdle out of the place where I had buried it. And behold, it was rotten, utterly good for nothing. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Thus will I mar the pride of Judah and the pride of Jerusalem, even this great pride of the men that will not hearken to my words, and have gone after strange gods, to serve them and to worship them, and they shall be as this girdle, which can be used for nothing. For as a girdle cleaves about the loins of a man, so have I caused to cleave to myself the house of Israel and the whole house of Judah, that they might be to me a famous people, and a praise, and a glory. But they did not hearken to me. And thou shalt say to this people, Every bottle shall be filled with wine, and it shall come to pass, if they shall say to thee, Shall we not certainly know that every bottle shall be filled with wine? that thou shalt say to them, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will fill the inhabitants of this land, and their kings, the sons of David, that sit upon their throne, and the priests, and the prophets, and Judah, and all dwellers in Jerusalem, with strong drink. And I will scatter to them a man and his brother, and their fathers, and their sons together. I will not have compassion, saith the Lord, and I will not spare, neither will I pity to save them from destruction. Hear ye, and give ear, and be not proud, for the Lord has spoken. Give glory to the Lord your God before he cause darkness, and before your feet stumble on the dark mountains, and ye shall wait for light, and behold the shadow of death, and they shall be brought into darkness. But if ye will not hearken, your soul shall weep in secret because of pride, and your eyes shall pour down tears, because the Lord's flock is sorely bruised. Say ye to the king and the princes, Humble yourselves and sit down, for your crown of glory is removed from your head. The cities toward the south were shut, and there was none to open them. Judah is removed into captivity. They have suffered a complete removal. Lift up thine eyes, O Jerusalem, and behold them that come from the north. Where is the flock that was given thee, the sheep of thy glory? What wilt thou say when they visit thee? For thou didst teach them lessons for rule against thyself. Shall not pangs seize thee as a woman in travail? If thou shouldest say in thine heart, Wherefore have these things happened to me? Because of the abundance of thine iniquity have thy skirts been discovered, that thine heels might be exposed. If the Ethiopian shall change his skin, or the leopardess her spots, then shall ye be able to do good, having learnt evil. So I scattered them as sticks carried by the wind into the wilderness. Thus is thy lot, the reward of your disobedience to me, saith the Lord, as thou didst forget me, and trust in lies. I also will expose thy skirts upon thy face, and thy shame shall be seen, thine adultery also, and thy neighing, and the looseness of thy fornication. On the hills and in the fields I have seen thine abominations. Woe to thee, O Jerusalem, for thou hast not been purified, so as to follow me. How long yet shall it be? The Epistle of St. Paul the Apostle to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verses 19 through 39. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiest by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way, which he hath consecrated for us, through the veil, that is to say, his flesh, and having a high priest over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as ye see the day approaching. For if we sin wilfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of the judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much surer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden under foot the Son of God, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace? For we know him that hath said, Vengeance belongeth unto me, I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. But call to remembrance the former days, in which after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great flight of afflictions, partly whilst ye were made a gazing-stock both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst ye became companions of them that were so used. For ye had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and an enduring substance. Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For ye have need of a patience, that, after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul.